Meet Chelsea. She lives in Athens with her 2-year-old daughter, Addison. Chelsea got pregnant before she finished high school. Her life is a little different now.
I wake up and pretty much like change her diaper, give her a bath, and make her breakfast, and she watches cartoons and we play. And
Chelsea says her priorities changed as soon as she had Addison. The change really hit Chelsea when she was bringing Addison home from the hospital.
Can you say mommy? Say mama?
like I just couldn't believe that I actually had a kid, and I'm like, she's mine for the rest of my life. It's definitely changed my life a lot. I actually cried. Like I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And then I called my mom and told her, and she cried.
But she's not alone. Several of Chelsea's friends in the area are also teen mothers. In fact, the Athens area has a higher percentage of teen births than the state average, at almost 13%. So how did Chelsea find herself with an unexpected positive on her pregnancy test?
I don't know. I was thinking, well, I'll be okay. I won't get pregnant. And yeah, it happened. My mom never really talked to me about it, so.
For some families, the sex talk seems uncomfortable, so they tend to leave it to the school health curriculum. So what are area high schools doing about sexual education? The reality is that 3 in 10 girls will become pregnant at least once before the age of 20 in the United States. Athens High School health teacher Steve McCollum talks to his honors health class about sexual education. But the high school only gives the freshman class 2 weeks on the subject and takes a more conservative approach.
I mean, the underlying theme to everything as far as what we teach for sex education is abstinence. You know, is that all we teach? No. I mean, with everything we do, we're always reinforcing abstinence down the road. You know, we will show them, and we will introduce the different contraceptive methods to them. We'll tell them the different, there's other alternatives out there. But as far as we're concerned, by far the best, the most effective, everything is just abstinence.
McCollum says the students are usually uncomfortable with the subject, but one of the most successful programs to help deal with that was CUT. And that hit the young girls especially hard.
When I first started teaching health here, we had a lady that came in. That was her job. She came from school to school to school and did a 2-week program on sex education. And she was great. She was really good. And then, was it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it got cut. Guys don't like to, they rather talk in the locker room about that stuff. And I think sometimes girls, and this could just be me, but I would be more comfortable approaching another girl or a woman. And that was a great thing about the lady that came in and taught. All the time there was always girls that would want to ask her stuff after class, and sometimes me, but not nearly as much, I think, just because they probably think it's harder to approach a male about those types of things than it would be a female.
Chelsea was a student at Athens High School and took sexual education in her health class. She didn't think the program helped her very much.
I think it could have been better, though. Yeah, they talked about protection and prevention and stuff, but still, there's 14-year-olds getting pregnant out there now, so.
So what happens when sex education in school or at home fails and girls like Chelsea end up as teen moms?
Are you using your keys?
For young mothers who feel like they're struggling every day, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Early Head Start, located here in Gloucester, helps to educate mothers and young children. Early Head Start sends a visitor to a teen mother's home to work with her children in hopes of educating them enough so that they can go into preschool on the same level as their classmates. Mary Howell is a home visitor with the organization, and she works with teen mothers. She says she is always impressed by them.
One thing that's really impressed me about when I've been working with teen mothers, especially after they've given birth, and I've been able to share information with them about how to care for their child and how to be responsible parents. They've been so receptive and excited and really used the information resources I've given in the best way possible. And it's really been impressive to me to see how responsible and receptive they've been. So it shows that even if someone is young, they still can kind of be assertive and take control of their lives and take responsibility for things in their lives. So.
But for teen mothers, Howell says this hope can be stifled by one large obstacle that is common in rural areas.
One obstacle teen moms, and I think a lot of people in general in this area face is isolation, maybe lack of transportation. Living in a very remote area can be kind of crippling to people just because they don't have access to the things that they need, basically.
Early Head Start's mission of education is important for current mothers and their children, but the organization doesn't deal with any sexual education or contraceptive methods to prevent future pregnancies, which often compound the difficulties for teen moms. With less access to organizations that do teach sexual education, it's hard for teen moms to get all the knowledge they need, and about 1 out of every 5 teen mothers has more than one child. A recent Planned Parenthood study in Ohio shows the need for preventative sex education. Of the almost 300 clients interviewed, nearly 14% did not want to use birth control, while almost 40% relied on their partners for birth control, and nearly all of those were women. Residents living below the poverty line and in rural areas feel the greatest effect of unplanned pregnancy. One reason for this in impoverished Southeast Ohio might be access and isolation. Women can't get to programs like Planned Parenthood to get the protection that they need, and the programs like Early Head Start that can get to these women aren't discussing safe sex for the future. Planned Parenthood Representative Beth Whitted says the organization provides information and contraception to help prevent teen moms from becoming pregnant again before they're ready, but it isn't always accessible in the area. How available are contraceptives to women who live in Appalachia, would you say?
Not. Again, this is a very rural area. I think that education, sexuality education, is really, really important. And again, if we start at a really young age and do it all the way through while raising children, that is really important. But access to birth control is equally important. If they can't get the birth control because they can't afford it, or they're afraid that if they go to their family doctor, they'll tell the parents, or if they can't get in, they can't afford it. Access is also really, really huge.
But Whitted says the key to preventing unplanned pregnancy is education.
How important is sex ed to young people? I think it is so critical, and it's one of the reasons I started working at Planned Parenthood. I think in a lot of households, people are very embarrassed about talking about it, so they're not getting the information at home.
Chelsea says that she currently is on birth control, but hopes to have more children when she's married. For Addison, she holds high hopes.
I hope that, like, when she goes through school, I hope she graduates, because I didn't graduate. I didn't finish my senior year, and I hope that she does better than what I did and doesn't make the bad choices what I did, so I'm going to help her through that.
Chelsea's typical day involves working to earn her GED, but she really only has one person in mind.
So my daughter's proud of me. Like, I want her to be proud of her mom. Like, I don't want her to think I just dropped out of high school and stuff like that, but...
Hi!